What's up, everyone, and welcome to the 31st episode of the Vision Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Brad's Gaming, and as always, I'm joined by Clonish Joe
Hello, everyone.
and Triple Bravo.
Howdy, folks.
But this week's topic is going to be on great games with bad developers. But before we jump into the topic, as always, we're going to do our question of the week, which is, who's your favorite developer? Or developers, whatever, if you want to have multiple.
Oh, it can be plural? I wasn't informed.
I guess.
No, we get.
All right, fine, one. Fine, singular.
I prepared one answer. I have
One
a
answer.
completely different answer if it's multiple.
All right, one.
Okay.
With one.
All right, I like being restricted. Beat
That's
me, Daddy.
restriction.
I'm sorry.
Let's. So you want me to start off with this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll start it off. You know,
Brad's
great.
starting something off for once.
Yeah, why not?
Whoa. He's a leader.
All right. So
He's the hostess.
I thought about this for a little bit, and I think it would be Capcom. My favorite because of I don't know. I feel like they, for the most part, hit most of their marks with their games. I mean, they have all of the fighting games that are massive. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom. Even though the last one got a lot of hate, it actually was very fun. Obviously, all of the Resident Evil games. I don't know. Honestly, I just feel like they have a lot of really solid classic games. And then there's all the old arcade stuff like Ghosts and Goblins and whatnot, Mega Man. So they're definitely my favorite. They haven't let me down much.
Of course,
I'll give
you
it
would
to them.
pick Capcom.
They're good.
They
What a
do have a
loser.
style. I do have fond memories of Beautiful Joe.
Yeah, Beautiful Joe is a good game.
The fighting
I mean,
games, yeah.
I know I'm beautiful, guys. You don't have to keep flattering me.
Ew.
Really, it's just a little too much. It's getting excessive.
Get out.
So yeah, I mean, yes, do they have some stuff that you might get, like Resident Evil 3 remake was a little rough, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's definitely worse that could happen, which we'll probably get into a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, how about you, Bravo? What'd you end up picking?
Oh, me, little old Bravo? My pick is Naughty Dog, okay? And I have to say that I haven't actually played too much of the Uncharted games. I haven't touched Last of Us. And you might be wondering, how can you like the studio or like the developer if you haven't played Uncharted or The Last of Us? Well, let me tell you, it's a little game series called Jak and Daxter. Okay? Also Crash Bandicoot. This just like a... Jak and Daxter is one of my favorite series, so like big points there. But also, even the games that I haven't played, they're just like... They just release good stuff. It's also the 20th anniversary of Jak and Daxter in December, so we barely missed it. But I was kind of upset that they didn't announce that they were releasing like a updated version or whatever. But
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate because the interview with the lead dev, I can't remember his name, Will or anyways, he's not too behind the idea of like remaking or remastering Jak and Daxter. Hopefully maybe like money incentivizes them to do it, but he wasn't behind like starting up the project again. But anyways, that's a tangent. Joe, what's your favorite developer?
Before I talk about that, I want to point out the fact that listening back through some of the old podcasts, episode 3, Bravo said he was going to get through The Last of Us. And he still hasn't started it.
I will.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Now you say that.
I will.
Episode 3.
It's been a year, bro. We've done so much.
But yet, we have nothing to show for it.
Oh yeah. You want to do this? We as a group have promised a whole podcast about anime and what constitutes a cartoon as an anime. We said
Why
we were
didn't
going
we
to
talk about anime? Brad doesn't even like anime.
super early.
I've
in
never.
the podcast.
I told you I've never watched an anime. I think in the.
Well, we
I
promised
started
it in one
the
of
Castlevania
the
one.
episodes.
I don't think that's true.
We also said we would contact and interview a dev of Mort the Chicken, and we haven't done that.
Oh,
War.
that's a good idea.
War.
On a, like the
That's
actual
literally Brad's idea.
Put that on the list, on the top of the list.
Yeah.
I don't remember what this
Write that
is,
on the wall
but
behind you.
War in the North. We promised that episode 10. What are good numbers for original IPs? Also, episode 10 was a
like
banger.
192.110.
We said we would play through Oregon Trail, Backyard Baseball.
We have played Backyard Baseball, actually. Brad and I.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yes.
remember that. Yeah.
There was a 15-minute interval that Joe and I had where we were really into backyard baseball.
Let me go ahead and mark that off the list yet. Then.
Kenny was my boy. I think his name was Kenny. Kenny something. He's got a long name.
Brad has promised episode 7 that he would play Sifu and watch Demon Slayer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sifu is
I
not
don't even
released
know what
yet.
Sifu is.
It's not released yet.
It's a fighting game.
Oh.
It's like that
And
martial arts fighting game.
Why did Brad say he'd watch Demon Slayer? We can't get him to watch anything.
He said, and I quote, "I'll watch Demon Slayer and maybe even SAO2." So
I don't even know what SAO2 is.
as
Why would
Sword
you
Art
watch-
Online.
It's not
Don't watch the
fair.
second part. If you're gonna watch it, watch the beginning.
No, he means like two, like as well, not
Oh.
number 2.
Oh.
And then my list is really long. Okay, but
Yeah, I know you're good at that.
Well, one, where are you pulling this from? Did you have you been writing these down?
I have.
Oh, all right. So number one, I completely lied about watching any anime. We can mark that down on the list right now.
That's
I
sad.
barely have time. As is, well, not that I don't have time, but I just don't want to watch anime.
Mhm.
What have I promised that I haven't followed through with?
You don't promise anything because you're disconnected. You have
It's because I'm dedicated to doing what I.
Joe's too
Yes,
busy
nothing.
Playing chess on his phone.
oh, look at the
halfway
cat!
through the
Look at the
podcast.
cat!
Yeah, we got Bigglesworth up in the webcam.
Yeah,
Oh man, but yeah,
he's making.
Joe has commitment issues, so if he doesn't commit to anything, he has no issues. Okay. That's.
I just want to say, let's hear some more the Bravo lists.
Mhm.
We're throwing Brad under the bus. Let's
Okay.
throw Bravo under there.
Play Fist. I have purchased the game. Have not yet been able to play it, but it's on my list. Perhaps the next game I will play for my Let's Play.
I would before you go out of that. I just want to say, I feel like if we were to, somebody should go out there. One of our big fans out there should re-listen to every episode and just get stats of like the games that we mentioned the most. I feel like Fist would be in the top 5. I feel like we mention this game all the time, and it's Joe and I bashing it, and Bravo is like, "This is the greatest game."
You guys talk it up. I just think it's a cool concept, like cool game.
It's definitely up in the top 5. I'd say More Than Chicken,
Mhm.
Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
probably Fist would be our top 4, and probably in that order.
Yeah, probably.
Diablo might be up there just because I talked.
Yeah,
about it.
Diablo would probably be. I'm gonna say Diablo is either 4 or 5.
Yeah,
But
but definitely
that'd be our top five.
Mort's got to be number 1.
Yeah, there was just so much more talk in the beginning.
It's gonna come back. I don't. Did I mention on the podcast I found a sealed copy and I was
Did you
very
buy it?
tempted to? No, it's still
Then I don't
available.
want to hear about it.
Mhm.
It's still available. Let me actually double check.
We've.
Bravo, keep going with your list.
All right. Well, I'm gonna run through these because we're going off on a big old tangent. I also said I would finally play Lost Judgment because it's the first Yakuza game to have English dub. That hasn't happened yet for obvious reasons. The Last of Us, I said I would watch a playthrough for the episode about sadness. I have on here Get Joe the Vita, episode 10. I don't know what that means.
I have a Vita now.
Yeah.
So mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
And he ended up getting Toad on from it. No, is it a
Episode
pawn?
It's a Rook, and that
Yeah.
came
Rook.
with the Spyro games, not with the Vita.
episode
Oh.
11, I said I would try the Pokemon trading card game. And that's just not going to happen. We're going to mark that out. And then episode 12, I said I would buy and play Saints Row for the territory management because I didn't know that existed, and that does sound very interesting because I like that kind of gameplay. And we're wrapped up, good to go.
Bravo, we make fun of ourselves for this backlog, but I think Bravo might have the largest backlog of us, and he just keeps saying, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this."
I actually do the things that I list out though.
Just wait.
I'm definitely not watching anime.
But onto my favorite developer. Back to the original talk. It's From Software, without a doubt. Followed closely by Nintendo. Only for the fact that they make Zelda. But From Software, since I've discovered them with Dark Souls, literally haven't released a game that I haven't fallen in love with. Even the crap that is Dark Souls 2, when released, I was in love with.
Have you played anything before Demon Souls from
Nope, don't plan to either, because it'll ruin it for me. I've watched videos about them, but it's not gonna happen.
Are they pretty bad?
Yeah.
So
they're
you
figuring
could
themselves
see,
out.
you could see a lot of the influence from the Dark Souls games in them, which is interesting. And they actually have a lot of the mechanics being a bit, they're difficult. The one is like a first person Dark Souls essentially, but it's kind of rough. I don't know. I've never played a lot of it, but yeah, they're also extremely expensive because the name that From Software has made for themselves. Everybody wants to collect From Software games now.
Yep.
So
But since I found them with Dark Souls, I never played the original Demon Souls, so it could have been crap. I played the remake for the PS5. Every game is definitely within like my top 15 games of all time.
I didn't realize Armored Core was made by them.
yep.
I'm looking at a list. Yeah.
They made Armored Core, Shadow Tower,
Yep.
called one.
I'm looking at their list right now on Wikipedia for the listeners.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a gander. I've played some Armored Core games.
Speaking of Mort the Chicken, by the way, going backwards a little bit. I think I should send Bethany the old link to this.
Yep.
Be like, hey,
What are you talking about?
hey, the sealed copy of Mort the Chicken.
How much that running for you, brother?
$74.99, but you can make an offer.
Ah, dude,
Free
that's
shipping.
That's cheap, brother.
Yeah, you definitely make an offer. Try to lowball it, but you got to get your
$40.
hands on it. And I want to see it like in the
What are you talking?
case.
$40?
A case displayed for us all to see.
Oh, it's gonna be hanging somewhere around here. It'll be within camera sight.
Send it out to get graded.
Actually, you know what I will do is I'm gonna hang it from the ceiling, and it's just gonna be right here.
Make it
Just
into
dangling.
a chandelier.
Yeah.
But you got to send it to get graded at least.
Man. All right. Anyways,
Let's jump into the main topic. We have
let us
tangent.
jump into it. So, great games with bad devs. So pretty sure we all had ideas. I went really deep into one. I don't know why. I had a moment. But these guys started rattling stuff off. So Joe, let's start with you.
All
What's
right.
your first one?
My first one. Which one do I want to pick first? We'll just go down the list. My first developer is going to. We'll do the game that is developer. The game is Gwent, so the card game that originally came out of the Witcher game, and the developer being CD Projekt Red. And I know Brad is gonna ask me again why I think CD Projekt Red is a bad developer, like he did before. They haven't released a complete game since I couldn't tell you when. The games they do release take forever to actually become playable. They released Gwent, which was phenomenal. They had to make no changes from The Witcher. And then they went and made it a pay-to-win card game that is now basically unplayable unless you're going to drop some big bucks.
Big bucks.
So since I've played, I think I played it, what was it, like a month ago, roughly? It seems like, then again, I haven't played super competitively, but it seems a little better, a little less pay to win than what it was before. That still doesn't mean it. But anyways, I do agree Gwent is an amazing game. I don't know much about CD Projekt Red myself, though.
I don't play The Witcher. Whenever I play The Witcher 3, I play Gwent.
When I play The Witcher 3, I slay
the Griffin.
I slay one Griffin, and I roll credits, baby.
Yeah, I really will like make it a point to just run around and play Gwent with everyone possible before I do any mission. Gwent's so good in that game.
It's funny because it's drastically different than.
Yep.
It's like, so I remember when I first played it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember Gwent because I played it a little bit when I played the first time through, The Witcher, where not through, but you know what I mean. When I played a bit of The Witcher, I was like, oh yeah, Gwent, that was pretty fun. And then they made it standalone. I played it, and it was very similar. Then I went back to it, and it was a little different. Took a little bit to get used to, and I'm like, oh, it's not exactly what I remember. Now you go to it, and they like completely destroyed one of the rows. It's only got 2 rows instead of 3.
That when I was watching you play it, I was like, where do you put like your archers or your siege?
Wow. Wait, was it because of the deck you were using, or all?
No,
cards?
The whole thing.
So
Whoa.
it used to be a melee row. I don't remember what the middle row was called.
It was the
and then
range.
there was
It was like
Well,
archers.
whatever the last row was then.
The
is
siege.
the one they got rid of
Mhm.
because, or they must have combined them because the last row is ranged.
Whoa.
It's melee and ranged, and that's it. That's what their rows are.
I don't like it.
That's terrible.
Back to my point. CD Projekt Red sucks.
So fun thought about CD Projekt Red. If they just changed one thing about their releases, I think they would have a lot less heat. It would be bad for us because obviously we the gamers want released games. But if they just set their games to release in early access, just like
Shut
all
up.
these other goofball
Don't give any
developers,
ideas.
yeah, they release in early access and they're like, oh, 2 years from now it's going to be an amazing game. Oh, that's not how Cyberpunk's supposed to be. This is just a beta version that you're playing. Caught us, boys. CDPR, don't do that. Just release good games, please.
Or crazy idea. Just don't release the game till it's done and don't announce it until you basically have a finished product.
Oh my goodness, that is chef's kiss.
What I don't understand is Cyberpunk is the main game that I only know of. I didn't follow The Witcher 3 at all. I didn't know that it had a rough start or anything like that.
A lot of people forget that, yeah.
Yeah, I just everything I know about it is that how all the praise that it gets, right? So Cyberpunk, I think their biggest mistake was they tried to release it on the old consoles when the game was clearly meant to be on the newer ones, and I think they hindered themselves by, all right, well, we have to make it somewhat playable on the PS4, and even with them trying, it ran at like 10 FPS.
I agree.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that the game, because, I mean, it still even needs work, I think, till this day, for some stuff, but overall, it probably just would have been in a better position if they released it for just PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC.
I 100% agree. I think that was too much of a bite to try to attempt. Like, they should have just...
Probably, which I think this is going to be a common occurrence, but it's developers being money hungry. They're looking at it. They're like, PS4 has this many users versus PS5. We can't leave them in the dust.
Reverse chef's kiss. That's what that is. It's a reverse chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame though because they release like really cool conceptual games, and after the 3 years of post-release development, they're raved about, and then they get all this credit back, and they're like, "Oh, they stuck with it and fixed it." It's like, no, just release it finished.
Mm-hmm.
That's just sadly that's modern day video game development of don't release a fully developed game because I don't know exactly what it is. I think we've gone over it numerous times, but the putting it out in early access, getting the early money is go to nowadays.
Yep. It's sad, but anyways, let's move on. Let's we got a lot of games to go over.
Yep.
So I'll just take the first one from my list, which is Ark, Studio Wildcard. Ark is a great concept. I've put hundreds of hours into that game, and I'll never touch it again because I finally decided that this is a toxic relationship and you need to get away from me, Ark. And honestly, just Studio Wildcard in general, like if they make a game, I don't want to touch it because the quality of game that they release is never complete. It's kind of funny. It's just like CDPR, right? They they have this crazy cool concept, just poorly executed. That's all I can say about them.
Yeah, Ark is. I mean, I've also put in hundreds, if not thousands, of hours at this point, but like it's a really good and fun game. And then like I enjoy the game mostly in private servers where you're able to control the chaos. So I still like the PvP aspect, just in like controlled environment where you don't work for 200 hours and then somebody gets on and it takes them 5 minutes to make everything go poof. But there's just so many bugs and they just don't feel like they're ever fixing. And if they do, they fix one issue and two more pop up. Uh, it it's a shame. I love Arc, but they're like, oh, let's just charge you $50 for this new map we've been working on instead of fixing the bugs on all the old ones.
The perfect example of Ark is them releasing a quote unquote different game, and then you scroll up in the main menu and you find the old game menu in that menu because they're too lazy to even. Because, like, obviously, if you're a developer, you're going to reuse assets, but, like, you do it so poorly. Just so poorly.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the pirate game was, but you literally could just like hold up on the main menu and it would tick for a few seconds and then you would just pop into the Arc main menu. Like says Arc and everything. And it's just like how? Why?
Did you ever just scroll up in your beta testing? Like, how's that not?
Like you can just set the controller down and something falls on it and that happens and you notice it, but how does it end up there? Did you just like literally take the game and like, we'll just add a new layer to it and basically make a deal? I don't understand how it happens. It's not something that happens on accident.
Yeah. Brad, why don't you give us
Yeah.
one from your list?
All right. So I'm gonna actually go with, well, the game that I love from them is Far Cry 3. The Ubisoft as a developer. They might not be the worst of the worst, I would say, but the thing I don't like about them is they basically make the same game and just reskin it over and over again. And I understand it's like, if it's not broke, don't fit, you don't have to really do anything. And on top of that, these games, they continuously make money. Like, people are just buying them. And so my main complaint was always the OG Assassin's Creed game. Um, there's nothing wrong with them per se them by themselves, but I used to get frustrated. I remember when they first were coming out because every year it was just the same game, just a little bit different or whatever. And I felt like they were pumping them out, and I'm just like, okay, I feel like you guys could be doing something else. And the other thing too, which is a little bit off, but a lot of their games are basically the same game, just like in a different perspective. Like Assassin's Creed games are very like mainly the old ones are very similar to like Far Cry games. Like climb up the towers, getting the going to the outlook places and I don't know. I don't know a ton about Assassin's Creed. My buddy does, but based on what he has shown me, it's they have a lot of similarities. But Far Cry 3 was like this weird hidden gem for some reason, and even the other Far Cry games, I like them, but they're not to the same level.
Far Cry 2 is super underrated, by the way. If you haven't played that game, 100% worth a play. But I agree with Ubisoft. I have them on my list for Rainbow Six Siege. But talking more about Assassin's Creed. So for Assassin's Creed 2, they literally released 3 Assassin's Creed 2 games. instead of just a DLC. There's Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Assassin's Creed Revelations. Literally all the same game with just more story. And I mean, you can't be any more blatant than that. But like with Rainbow Six Siege, it was a game I've played Rainbow Six since I was a child. My dad had the first one, and I literally have all of them sitting on a shelf behind me. But Siege, during the pre-release and like alpha and beta, it was a super tactical shooter game, and like you infiltrate through the roof off of a helicopter, and then the game comes out and it's nothing like it was advertised. Um, and nowadays, it's barely even like a shooter at this point. You are just anytime you walk through a doorway, you get hit by 8 different things that make you can't see, and you're dizzy, and you fall down, and there's an explosion, and you're just like, what, the world just happened, and there's there's like no shooting in the game. It just feels like the skill aspect is gone, and it's basically a game of hide and seek. But
Yeah.
Ubisoft sucks. But their South Park games are pretty dope.
They, like I said, they have some stuff that I enjoy. I just wish that they were. Then again, I can't blame them. I mean, really, you can't blame them. People are buying them. They're making money from it and stuff. And like I said, my buddy, it's Assassin's Creed, the new ones are like his favorite games. He just loves them because they're time sinks, and he could put the time into them and doesn't have to buy a ton of games. So like, hey, for somebody like that, probably a good thing. I mean, I guess
There's
if you're
definitely
a
a
huge
market
fan,
for it, but
yeah,
it doesn't mean they're good developers. They have some scummy business practices as well.
yeah. So now, how about we move to the next one, Joe? Next one.
All right, so I'm gonna hop to one that's near and dear to my heart here. The game's gonna be Smite, developed by Hi-Rez Studios. Now, this game has been the love-hate relationship of the past 6, 7, what are we, 9 seasons? And so last 8 years of my life. This is my most played game of all time, hands down. Not even close, like within 1,000 hours of anything else. And the game conceptually is so cool. It's literally all the different gods from different pantheons battling it out in a MOBA. Now, they also have like basically a team deathmatch game mode for people who don't want to deal with all of the learning the different strategies and farming mechanics of a standard MOBA, which is super cool for new players. It's also available on literally every console as well as PC with crossplay. Skins are super awesome. Well, they just keep making the game more and more less competitive in a way. They just keep dumbing everything down for newer players and kind of forgetting the higher level players. I'm, in like the top X% at this point in like masters ranked and whatnot, and played like actual competitive, and it really hurts the top end. So just for some examples of like ridiculous things they do in their new season, which is about to start, Worlds just ended. They're adding some upgrades to relics, which are some abilities that have basically a timed cooldown that you get to select from a different selection. Well, one is beads. What beads does is it cleanses any type of crowd control on you. So stuns, slows, roots. Well, that's how you would lock down somebody who's pretty mobile, so and hard to, get to with it and be able to kill. Well, now if they use those beads, which already removes that ability for 2 seconds to lock them down, you now take 7% of your maximum health as damage for trying to lock somebody down. On top of that, there's another one that's a second and a half where you don't take damage. Now, a second and a half you don't take damage, you will then explode, deal 100 damage plus 50% of all damage taken. So somebody hits you with an ability that does 1,000 damage, and you're right next to them. You will then explode after a second and a half after taking 0 damage and do 100 plus 500. So 600 damage to them for them trying to hit you and you doing nothing. but pushing a button. It just makes no sense. It like the squishies, the carries of the game, the ones who do all the damage, typically have low health, and the goal is lock them down, kill them, you win the fight. Well, now you try to lock them down, you die just for trying to touch them. On top of that, they took their Pro League, which was multinational. So they had like the Oceania League, the Europe League, the North America, Latin America. And they said, okay, all of you are gone. If you want to be a pro, you have to move to Atlanta. And we're doing everything via LAN. Which, in theory, sounds like, oh, okay. But then they're like, oh, we're also only going to pay you like less than $40,000 a year. And there's no more NAEU rivalry, and everyone could be everyone. And then, oh, we're also not dealing with organizations anymore. You all work for high res. We choose who the pros are. So, have at the. There's a laundry list of things I can complain about, but there's just so much good and so much bad.
The item changes, for people who aren't mobile players, don't worry too much about the details. It's just a very strange addition to the game. Normally, when you try to balance a MOBA, you don't add you don't do that. It's very strange. It makes, they're mixing it up, I guess. But the whole Pro League is really what gets me, is like, why would you kill your own game like that? I don't know. It's very strange.
Yeah, so like, in theory, it's not the worst idea. You're going to get better quality playing in a LAN environment, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, like, half of the pro players that were around before the Switch are now gone because, all the European players who at the time were pretty much the best in the world were all like, oh, I have a family. I can't just up and leave and move to America, or I am in college and I'm not just going to leave that to go play a game that's, may not have a future for me. And I'm not making enough money now that'll offset. So why would I do that? So we lose all these quality players, and it's just like, okay, now we pick up the B team, and it's just weird.
So one of my big brain ideas is, just have like an island or one location that the Olympics is played at every year, and one location that like esports are played at. And esports are special because you could do one per continent. Like, why couldn't Hi-Rez have a location in North America and a location in Europe and just manage both, and then just have like a flipping worlds location? Like, 1 year it's in Europe, 1 year it's in NA, 1 year it's in China, like whatever. Like, who cares? Yeah, I get it that you can like make more money by controlling literally every aspect about the game, but if your player base is much reduced, I don't know if it's worth it. And unfortunately, you'll never see the other side of that because you can't see the alternate choices that you could have made. But
yeah, and it's also really dumb that they made it that orgs aren't affiliated because they had some issues with an org not paying their players properly. But the fact that they choose the pros now just leads to blatant favoritism.
Oh, your buddy Ben plays Smite. He's pretty good. He's a pro now. Look at that.
Yeah, it's no matter what, there's gonna be favoritism in it, just like in everything, and it kind of ruins the aspect of new players getting into the scene and whatnot.
Preach it, sister.
Enough of that. I can go on for days.
Oh, quit preaching, sister. Somebody else's turn.
You preach.
Yeah, bravo. Yeah, let's hear yours.
My next one is a little special one. It's got some math involved, which is Robert Space Industries, which are making Star Citizen. So this is a not released game, but the concept again is a very cool, like ultra immersive space sim, which I love my space sim games. You might understand why if you've listened to the podcast for a few episodes. But it's become this Kickstarter scam of a development company. They've before the episode, I looked it up, and they've surpassed $400 million paid to them to develop this game. That's in-game purchases. You know, like you physically can buy ships that are put into your account, so that whenever the game officially releases, you'll have that thing. So it's like a physical. It's almost like an NFT before NFTs existed. And I swear, if I'm just waiting for the day where they like attach NFTs to all the stupid stuff that they do. But just for a reference here, GTA 5 cost $265 million to develop and release. A loose average for games, just from like a quick Google search, because obviously it's going to vary widely, is like 60 to 80 million for like a decently sized AAA game, you know, and of course with like the GTAs and whatnot, you're going to get those massive fluctuations of cost. But that's just like a reference for like how much this game has cost, and it's not anywhere near done. They don't have a single product that is like packageable and releasable to the public. You know, they've got a first-person shooter aspect of the game. They've got a racing aspect of the game. They've got a little bit of the space simulator part of the game, but obviously that's the biggest chunk. So that would come out in pieces and be released with the final game. But I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I really don't.
Okay, I'm completely ignorant when it comes to this game, but I've heard, and I don't know if it's this specific space game or not. Is this the one where you have to purchase the actual ships?
Yes.
Okay, so it costs like extra money. Like some people have thousands of dollars into these ships, and then if they blow up, they're gone.
So the way that I don't know about that part, but the way that they are funding this game is by selling you in-game assets, right? So like you can buy the Founders Pack or whatever equivalent, I can't remember because it's been so long. But you can buy an individual package or a ship or an accessory, cosmetics, whatnot that you'll get in game. So I invested really early into this game with like, I think it was like $40. I'm like, oh, that's the cost of a game, you know. So yeah. I own a ship in this game, and if it ever releases, I could go fly it around, you know. But they have had special. I don't want to call them auctions, but like limited time sales where, you know, X amount of these ships will ever be created, and, you know, you have to buy them now or you'll never have them. So like when the game finally comes out, only those amount of people will have that ship.
Yo, Bravo, I'm going to screenshot your spaceship and have it myself.
You can have it, brother. You can fly it around all you want.
Anyways, so basically, what I was saying, if it's the same game, I think that's crazy that these people are this diehard. Because I remember listening to another podcast, and they were talking about how in the game the people were super diehard, and like they put all of this money into these ships, and basically all it takes is one, like everybody could gang up and try to attack this one ship.
I think you might be mixing up. Eve Online.
It could be that
because they don't have a working game that would allow you to do that in Star Citizen. And I think there's
a selling point.
I think there's insurance on the spacecraft, so you could just get it back.
Are we sure that they're actually a developer at this point yet?
They're developing.
Sure it's just not a man. It's just Robert Space.
Do we know they're developing? Or are they just saying they're developing?
Well, they release content. It's just like...
I can release a little bit of content here and there too. But
this developer they should be put into textbooks as a textbook example of scope creep. They have all this... fanciful ideas of what they want to do, but their scope of what they want to release just creeps on and on and on, and it's unobtainable.
Yeah. That's when it comes to game development, like for me, low ball on it, baby. Flappy Bird all the way. Man.
I still have an iPhone in my drawer that has Flappy Bird on it.
Flappy Bird was fun for that little bit of time.
So if anyone's interested in buying it, hit your boy up.
I never played Flappy Bird. Was it
Well,
true
you're
that they forced the game to be removed from the store?
The developer was getting, so from what I've heard, the developer was this one guy. He made it really quickly, and he was getting like death threats about this game, and people were so angry about it, and he was like, I can't handle this anymore, so he took it off the store.
Oh my.
It was literally the perfect, like, I have 5 minutes to waste some time game.
It was, yeah. It was good. I mean, it's funny. I don't know. Is there another mobile game, like the new hot mobile game, we'll say, that's similar to that? Because for a while
Raid
it was
Shadow Legends.
But I like the thing with Raid is it's a little bit more in depth, I think.
Or it's
like an RPG type thing. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there is. I'm not hip in the mobile gaming.
Flappy Bird, Angry Birds, obviously
Run.
Candy Crush, the Temple Run and stuff. Wonder if there's something right now that's out there. I'm not real with mobile stuff, but anyways,
my mobile game that could do that is chess.
I'm looking at the list. This is the top 5. Okay, Slap and Run, Pull the Pin.
What are we slapping though?
Fall Break, Cut Grass.
Cut grass. That sounds like a sushi game if I've ever heard of one.
Count Masters Stickman Clash.
If it was a leaf blowing simulator, let me tell you, I know the top player.
Rocket League Sideswipe, the newest 2D Rocket League game. It's in the top 10. Roblox is the 10th. There you go. We're your local mobile gaming podcast platform.
If you want news, you know where to go.
If we're turning into a mobile gaming platform, I'm gonna announce my retirement.
Oh boy.
I can only talk about chess so much.
So should Joe go again since?
I will. So I'm gonna talk about one that Joe has. So.
I see it. Okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I was originally going to put in for the studio, Dishonored and The Evil Within, but they're just publishers. They actually don't develop the game. So Bethesda to me is the company that I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like Bethesda themselves really makes the greatest games. I've never been a huge fan of them. The other companies that they have under their wing though, I like, such as Arcane, and I like Tango whatever, Tango something. That makes The Evil Within, and then even id, which makes Doom. Right, they're not bad. But the games that have really not done it for me are the Elder Scrolls and Fallout. I've never been big fans of them. Skyrim has such potential. And I've said it numerous times.
Good games, bad devs, not bad games, bad devs.
No, well, everybody thinks Skyrim's a great game. I just think
apparently
Bethesda
you don't.
themselves.
So, I'm taking my turn back. Skyrim is a phenomenal game, especially in the modding community.
Well, okay, so wait, before you got on, so what you're saying is if I change the game from what it was based on...
No.
And
they Skyrim
tweak it.
Is a phenomenal game, especially with their modding community.
So it's a better game, not base.
Gotcha. Correct, but it's still a phenomenal game at the base.
Yeah, even the base game is good. So here's the thing: we're all gonna resonate right here because we literally have Bethesda on all of our lists. Okay?
I wrote this on my list, and everyone went, "Ooh, ooh." And
So my issue with Bethesda is that of Skyrim, but also Fallout. The Fallout games are a great concept, but towards the later ones, even like especially Fallout 76, it's not even a good game. Like they had to work on it, and I don't even know the state of the game right now. But it was terrible when it came out, Absolutely
Nobody.
terrible.
I think it's basically nobody cares about Fallout 76.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who plays this game.
They're
Didn't it go free to play? Am I wrong in that?
I do not
I like
know.
didn't even care. I thought I heard that, and I still was like, still not gonna happen.
Here's the big thing that doesn't make sense for Fallout 76. You took a franchise that is a single player franchise, and you're like, let's make it multiplayer that nobody wants. There you go.
It wouldn't even have been bad if they made a multiplayer. Just do it right. Not
They're- Their biggest issue is they're clinging to their the background. I can't think of the name. The operating system of the game. The engine. They're
Yeah,
just
I
like
don't know.
clinging to their engine, and they just need a complete overhaul because it's awful.
The real tell will be when Starfield comes out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be a huge turn
And I'm
for them.
Yeah.
It's whether it's positive or negative, obviously nobody knows, but yeah, obviously not crapping on Skyrim and stuff. I think Skyrim is a solid game. Looking back on it, I didn't play it when it first came out and stuff, but I have my certain issues with it, and it's just what I would want from it. And like Joe said, I think when you mod the game, it becomes good. But overall, it's still obviously a great game. I mean, it's ported onto everything, including the toaster at your house.
So Starfield will be on a new engine. So like my critique is like, oh well, maybe that'll be fixed. Who knows?
Skyrim was the last game to me that Bethesda released that mattered, and it's been 10 years. Like Fallout 4, I got it on release, beat it within 48 hours because I was like, oh, more Fallout, yes, and I played it and I was like, oh my god, this was awful. And Fallout 76, I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole, and I literally don't even know if they've released anything else, but we still don't even have anything about Elder Scrolls 6 besides a mountain. There's gonna be at least one mountain.
I don't even care, honestly.
It's just what are 10 years. Even if Fallout 4 came out and it was good, it was 4 years after Skyrim?
No, I won't critique them. If they release a game and it's complete, even if it doesn't resonate with me, if the game is complete,
it goes up 8 points immediately.
good for you.
That's the state of games today. Just if you come out and it's complete, you instantly are at a 7.
You released a complete game. Guess who's nominated for Game of the Year?
It's so sad. It is sad.
Pathetic.
Yep.
We're so negative.
I have
We're
high
so
hopes for
old
this.
and negative.
I have high hopes for this year, though.
But I guess I'm up again, yeah?
Sure,
Yeah.
go for it, boss.
All right. Well, I'm about to read off a handful of games because I don't even know if it's all developed by, but definitely has the name all over it. Star Wars Battlefront, both of the new ones, not the old ones. Old ones are amazing. Battlefield 2042, every sports game they make, as well as The Sims. And I just want to say, I hate you with a passion, EA. And please sell these IPs to somebody else. Because they're just so filled with microtransactions. The Sims, it's such a basic game, at its core. But let's add literally 127 Steam listings for DLC that cost anywhere from $5 to $30 if you want all of the content of the game. We will take another $800 on top of the money it costs to play the game.
I know one DLC for The Sims that we would all purchase. That is a Mort the Chicken. Downloadable content. If I could put Mort the Chicken in the game, he runs around like crazy. I don't know what else would be in there. A cube.
That's it.
That'd be it.
Cube.
Yeah, that's the full game.
But Battlefield, we don't even need to get into it at this point. There's nothing there. It's as bare bones of a first-person shooter as you could make. Every sports game they release is the same game for the past 5 years. And then Star Wars Battlefront is just loot crate hell. And need we say more?
No, I guess not.
I guess not. I was. Well, we did that thing where we all looked at each other.
So, do we need to say any more?
So I'm gonna go after you because I have something that resonates with what you said. So I could talk all day about Games Workshop and how terrible they are, but I'm gonna pick one specific game out as an example. Gladius Relics of War. It's a great game. It's one of their better ones in my opinion. Joe even played it with me a little bit. Surprising enough.
Is that 4X one?
Mm-hmm.
I would actually go back and play that if you wanted to, because I'd like to learn more of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty doggone good game, but the problem is, they monetize everything, right? Like, so in Warhammer you have different factions and different subgroups, and they release the base game, which is like, it's like a little taste, right? The most recent one, Battle Sector, they sell the rights to these different game developers, and 1 in 10 game developers actually releases a good game. But they release a base game with like one chapter and like one little campaign, and then later on they'll release a DLC, which is like another chapter and a little bitty campaign, and they'll keep doing that, and they'll just just nibble at your pocketbook, and then you have $180 worth of DLCs in total for a game that, if you package all those together, perhaps you have a pretty nice little collection of games. Now, luckily, most of the community is like, I like this faction, or I like these 3 factions. So you can buy them all and like mix and match and do what you want, but you can't get the full experience if you don't have a lot of these DLCs. It's unfortunate that they have such a good IP and terrible owners. So and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Tell me, I don't know about the microtransactions of that game, but is it comparable to like Civ 6, where you have the different civs available that you can get in the DLC packs and stuff like that? Or
I'd say it's more comparable to The Sims, right? Where you buy like housing, and then you buy like college, and
what else? And then you buy items to put in the house.
Yeah.
You buy items specifically for the bedroom.
So like think about just like a regular military, right? Like, ooh, I'm gonna buy the artillery units, and then I'm gonna buy the South American artillery units, and then I'm gonna buy the Russian units, and I'm gonna buy the North American Special Forces units.
So you're just buying each different civ, essentially.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's just sleazy, I guess. I don't know.
Agreed. I mean, to a point, I think Civ does it okay, personally. Like, it was once a year you'd buy a DLC essentially, and it completely changed the game. And you'd also get new civs and whatnot. But it was basically a DLC that was a whole new game, just set in the same.
I really think that the subcontractors that are developing these games for Games Workshop, it must be in the contract that they have to make like X amount of expansions or DLCs for their game, because everybody does it, and it's not 100% rational to do it in some instances. Like, it's just dumb, and the way that they pump games out, that are sub quality, it's terrible.
It's where they start charging like 3 cents for a unit, and once you buy them, you have to pay 2 cents for the next one.
Yeah, we're waiting. It's gonna drop. It's gonna get you.
All right, Brad, read us the book.
You want me to do that? You want me to leave that towards the end?
Read the book.
Read the book.
All right. So, I wrote a bit about Konami, because current Konami, I think, is pretty rough, because
What's
They
the good
basically
game?
are just dead. Huh?
What's the good game we're comparing here?
Good game is everything that they've made previously. So the original Castlevania, Silent Hill,
Okay.
all that stuff, right? They were pretty much neck and neck with Capcom back in the day. I'm sure some people could even argue that hey, maybe Konami was better, or whatever. Back in the arcade days and whatnot. I mean, they were just killing it. Now they've gone to this weird thing where all they're doing is essentially porting their stuff. So, which I don't mind to a certain extent, right? So they'll port.
Pachinko machines as well. Don't forget
Yeah,
them.
well, the pachinko machines are their main money source, but they like it's almost like I feel like they're just keeping their toe in the water just enough in case they want to go back into game development, right? Because all they're really releasing are these ports of old games. So like you got the Castlevania collections, they're constantly doing that. They did the Contra one also, and the like I said, I don't mind it because hey, I don't have to hook up an NES on a flat screen, unless you have like a tube TV laying around with an NES and whatnot. But if you don't, say you're like a younger kid, unless you're gonna emulate it and stuff, this is a way to play it on like your PS4, PS5. It's I don't mind it, but the thing is, if you compare it to Capcom, Capcom had the Mega Man Legacy Collection. If you look at it, they had tons of features, a lot of art, like cool menu screens when you cycle through the different games. Um, they had extra features showing like the different, the development cycle of it, like the original drawings of Mega Man and how they came up with the bosses and whatnot. So where Konami, it's literally just a screen with text on it that highlights what game you want. You click on it, boom, you're in the game. That's it. That's basically all it is, right? So it's just very low effort. Um, I don't know if they're also like outsourcing most of these. I know that it seems like they want to get back into it. They want like developers to work with them to make like a new game in these old series. There was like a posting that they had about that. But also want to point out a lot of the games that were huge, like they left like a bad taste in our mouth. So example would be Metal Gear Survive. So this is the game that they decided to leave off on for Metal Gear. Hideo Kojima obviously created Metal Gear, and every game was pretty much a classic for most of the fans. They loved them, and then they were like, "Well, we're just gonna be money hungry and make Survive and put Metal Gear in I mean, they really didn't even have to put Metal Gear in the title. They could have named it something else, but they used all of the assets and whatnot that they could from the game to make a cheap little survival zombie style game. Just seems like a greedy move. And then there's also the big Silent Hill games. So in 1 year, they essentially wanted to release four things in the Silent Hill universe, and it was the HD collection. They wanted to release Book of Memories. They wanted to release a movie, and I think there was something else. What the heck was the other one? I don't know. Anyways, but just as an example, HD collection, can't really blame the people that they handed it off to because they didn't even have completed code, because somehow Konami lost the code to the completed game of Silent Hill 2 and 3. So they didn't have like any assets. They had to build it from the ground up. But the game's like basically completely broken. And then Silent Hill Book of Memories is essentially one of the most soulless action RPGs I've ever played.
Brad bought a Vita to play this game and immediately sold me the Vita after playing this game.
Yes, I did. It was very rough, but still on the shelf because it says Silent Hill. Yes. And then one last thing I have to say is also they're not shy from doing the whole, hey, which I don't blame them. Like they made Saw 1, the first Saw game, right? But it flopped. Like it was a bad game, but they also knew that it would make money because it was a movie game. And instead of them making the game like, oh crap, we messed up on this game. We'll make we made enough money to make a second one. We might as well, maybe we should fix it up. They made it worse. It's like, I don't know. So Konami's been on a very big downhill slope for a long time, and it's sad because like they were killing it back in the day.
So I'm just saying, if Konami came out today and was like, new Silent Hill game, I'm pretty sure it'd be like blow Elden Ring out of the water as the most hyped game like coming out.
It probably would. Here's the thing. They have such big names that they can pull out. That's what surprises me. Like, can you imagine if they were like, we're gonna make a AAA Castlevania game, like, and actually put in work?
Mind-boggling.
It would be insane,
especially since the popularity of the Netflix show. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they could just be like, hey, Bluepoint, for example, is remastering Silent Hill, and I'd be, oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, they did so good with Demon's Souls. I'd love to see Bluepoint put their hands into Silent Hill.
I mean, there were rumors that Bluepoint was going to be remaking the first Metal Gear Solid.
That'd be cool too, but I haven't played through Metal Gear yet, so I don't care as much about Silent Hill.
Yeah, so to me, it's just sad that like it's even Capcom even has it a little bit too, where it's like you have these big IPs, right? And I'm sure this could even be a topic on its own, but like some of these companies, they're sitting on these huge IPs, and it's just like collecting dust. It's like, don't you want money? Like, that's one thing I don't understand about some of these places. Like, do you want money? Do you know how big of a franchise something like Silent Hill, Castlevania is? Even Contra is small, but if you were to be like, hey, listen, we're going back to the roots, right? We're somehow gonna make this like the original Contra, that level of fun play and everything. People would probably be hyped about it.
Meanwhile, Nickelodeon's like, here's a fighter game, by the way.
Yeah, here you go. I don't know. Anyways, done. End of the rant.
You got these random people who are like, here's a fighter game, I guess, because 2021 is...
Why doesn't Konami just make their fighting game, right? Like, I mean, wasn't Konami the ones that made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, and whatnot?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they did.
I know they made the one that was on the original Xbox. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that they made the arcade game, because they were making those. They made the Simpsons game too, I believe.
The Hit and Run.
Yeah. So, no, not Hit and Run, like the arcade Simpsons game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and their other big thing that they still make is they own Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
So
okay.
They pump out the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That thing was on the front page of Steam like yesterday.
So they have things. They make also Pez.
Pez dispensers?
The candy?
No, the
Pro Evolution Soccer.
Ball.
We make edible rocks. Here you go.
I was like, Konami makes Pez dispensers?
They probably do, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me.
I was so confused. I was like, my life is a lie.
But like they're definitely still making money. So
yeah,
they're probably not in any hurry.
Come on, Konami, put a little bit of that money into some Silent Hill for you, boy.
That's all I want.
I would love a good remaster of Silent Hill 1. I would love it.
Silent Hill 1, even though I do love Silent Hill 2, and overall it's probably my favorite. Silent Hill 1 is probably my actual favorite.
Perfect. It's so good. I would do anything for a remaster of that game.
If I were to rank it, top 3, it'd be Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 1, Chicken.
This is not a horror game episode. You're cut off. The both of you. I see you getting excited over there.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I did my rant. There was my essay.
All right. Back to me then. And my final one listed is going to be PUBG. made by Krafton and PUBG Corporation, and this is also going to include PUBG Mobile. But PUBG, conceptually, it's probably my favorite of the battle royales, and I think that's just because of the fact of the scale. You're not constantly running into someone and having to build a fortress in 0.3 seconds like Fortnite, and it's not Call of Duty because Call of Duty's Call of Duty. But PUBG is just like, it feels good mechanically. You have the option for third or first person, which I like. I play both and enjoy both. But it got to a weird point where like they just were releasing maps and that was basically it. They did nothing else. Like there were issues at the beginning of the release and like they removed guns from like the starting area when you're loading in. And they removed now the option to select what map you want to play. You're forced to play random maps, which I'm sure has to do with the player base dwindling at this point in the life cycle. And then they were just like, all right, we're just going to riddle this thing with microtransactions. And everything has microtransactions at this point, like gun skins. And they have Jeremy Lin, the basketball player that I don't even think is in the league anymore, has a pack in that game that you could buy skins.
What?
Jeremy Lin has a pack in PUBG of like weapon skins and clothings.
That's different.
They have like PUBG
like
Mobile.
Jeremy Lin.
PUBG Mobile is even worse. Like PUBG Mobile will partner with anything. I know they partnered with like Blackpink, the K-pop group, and you were able to like drop
Now,
in as the
whoa,
K-pop
whoa.
girls.
I feel like we need to have a halt here because they want to work with us. I feel like we need to completely change this entire topic to best developers of all time.
Yeah, I think we've got something.
And I think we've got something. We can make a purple and green skin packs and whatnot, and make my face the bullet that comes out like that.
But
you're shooting me.
Another thing is like when they originally started putting skins and stuff in the game and like the season pass and all that, you're able to sell them on the Steam marketplace, just like Counter-Strike Go skins. Well, then they released some skins that you're able to buy, and so I got like the Silent Hill nurse skin. It's not officially Silent Hill, but it's the Silent Hill nurse skin. And then I went and I was like, oh, not many people are going to buy this because it's, early and it's not officially Silent Hill or whatnot. And then I'm like, oh, it's going to become worth probably a pretty penny because it's like the first sold thing on PUBG. Unsellable. And I was just like, what? What? Why? Everything else is sellable. Why can't I sell this? And it's unsellable. All right. Weird. Whatever. It's still the skin I wear, but so I don't really care because it's cool as hell looking. But yeah, they just do some weird things. Like they just keep pumping out maps. There hasn't been like any real upgrades. They just went free to play. And they made the UI like 10 times worse.
Which I can finally deny playing PUBG because of the cost and just straight out say that I don't want to play it, which is cool.
I still have yet to play a Battle Royale game.
We were talking, you play Super Auto Pets all the time. That's Battle Royale.
How is this a battle?
But we were talking about PUBG last night, and I don't remember if we got in, like, I feel like it was originally free to play if you got in early, and then it went paid, and then it's now back to free to play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly, but we were talking about it last night when we were playing. But it's still a game I actively play. Well, I should say just got back into playing. But there's just like so much weird about the game. They haven't added much in terms of weapons or like any real mechanics, and they just keep slapping new maps. It goes like grass map, desert map, Asia map, and then it's like desert map, Asia map, desert map, Asia map. Oh, we added snow. And it's just like, why all these maps? There's not players for all these maps. And I can't even like pick to play the new maps. I just have to play till I get it randomly. I don't know. That's probably like the least of my worries out of this list, but the microtransaction swarm is my big complaint with PUBG.
I just realized that Battlegrounds and Super Auto Pits really is a battle royale. It's a card-based battle royale. You drop in, no weapons, get your first card, and you go fight other people. It's all RNG.
I hate both of you.
It really is. Oh, mind blown.
Is there a minimum for battle royals of how many people? Because it's only 8 people in battle round.
That's more than one.
Hmm.
I mean, Hunt Showdown, I don't think has too many people in there at Battle Royale.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a card-based battle royale.
You're welcome,
Welcome,
Brad.
welcome to that thought.
Wow.
He is broken. so my last game on my list is the Shadow of War, which is the sequel to Shadow of Mordor by Warner Brothers Studios. Shadow of Mordor, I actually really like the game. I like going through. It was like a like a random Lord of the Rings game, which I really enjoyed, but it's also pretty cool, pretty fun.
Lord of the Rings, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. And it had some pretty cool, like, little mechanics, brainwashing and all that good stuff. It's pretty neat. Shadow of War comes out, and for whatever reason, they're like, yeah, the single-player game requires connection to the internet, which, by the way, developers don't do that. That's dumb. And, yeah, there's, like, loot boxes and loot crates in here for your pleasure. Enjoy. And it's like, I did not even think about buying the game whenever I heard that. I said, no, thank you. No, thank you.
I got it for free through one of those like monthly things.
That's
And even then I played it and I was like, why does this game feel so much worse than the first one?
It's just so greedy. It's ugh.
Yeah, it's really bad. And they like slap it everywhere. And then they like, even in the tutorial, they're like, here's where you could buy your loot crates. And it's just like, oh, what for what? And they're like, oh, nothing, just in case you wanted to buy stuff. It's like, what?
So I'm looking at it the same way I think that you were. Now, does it count? You're putting WB as the studio, correct?
Isn't it Warner Brothers?
So
Or no,
they're the parent company.
Mhm.
It's kind of like me when I was like, hey, I like The Evil Within and Dishonored, but they aren't Bethesda. Like, Bethesda owns them. There's subsidiary companies. So Monolith Productions makes the other
That's
game.
it. Monolith, screw you then. And WB Studios, screw you for letting them screw us.
Okay,
like, for example,
you can share the blame, but I feel like the blame inevitably goes to the parent. WB were the ones that either greenlit this idea or forced the idea, which I think is probably more realistic as to what happened. They're like, hey, we want to monetize more of this game. It's not a single sell. Make it happen. Also, here's some loot crates. EA does it all the time. Here you go. Have fun. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, because like WBI, which that's the rabbit hole of going down of like realizing, holy crap, how large some of these companies are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they own Midway Games, Monolith, Rocksteady, Avalanche, Turbine, NetherRealm Studios, probably some more too.
The Nether Realm.
Yeah, aka the Mortal Kombat team.
Mortal Kombat guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we got anything else to add on to here? You got any other stuff?
There's plenty more out there, but not that it comes to the top of my head.
Another negative episode for the boys at the Envision
Our
Gaming.
favorite. We love just talking about how much
yeah.
we hate gaming.
No, we talked about great games with poor development. Come on, guys. It's the flip side of the coin.
We talk about how much we hate gaming here. And that's what we do.
And how much we love Super Auto Pets.
The Battle Royale card game.
Greatest Battle Royale game ever made.
It took him a minute. It took him a couple minutes, but he's finally like, yeah, I'm still going to play Super Auto Pets. Yeah.
I'm still
He
playing.
thought about it for a while. He's really
Thought about-
considering his life here.
I thought about quitting. I thought about quitting everything at that moment when you said that. I was about to be done.
It looked like
I was gonna sell. I was gonna sell everything I had. This whole room was gone.
The house gone.
Yep. I was
Wife
going
and kids out the door.
backpacking from now on.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's episode 31. Quick update on the cast. Last episode we talked about getting a revamp of the podcast again. Maybe showing our faces during the podcast since the majority of our viewership is coming from YouTube. Well, we're still working with the artist, and they're taking their time, which take all the time you need. Just make a good product, I guess. So maybe another week on that, maybe 2 weeks on that. Don't know.
Maybe 3.
Maybe
4.
Maybe 4. I don't know. I'm not.
It's like Brad buying a house. You never know when it's going to happen.
You know what? How about we do what we say the company should do, and we just don't say a time frame, and we say it's done when it's done.
We shouldn't even have announced it to build hype.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to be more open and transparent, with all the people that listen to us.
We could be transparent about it that, hey, we're working on this, but when we...
No. We said we don't like that. We don't like that. Elder Scrolls showed us that they're working on it.
All right, guys,
like,
I got it. Hey, guys, we're working on something. It's gonna release. It's gonna release. Okay, we're working.
What?
Working.
No.
It might
instead,
release.
What you should have done is, for example, episode 32 will be a 5-second episode, and all it is it's just a flash of text that says cams. We don't know what it is. Could be cam girls. Could be a cat cam. I don't know.
Ooh, I'll take a Bigglesworth cam.
Bigglesworth cam? I don't know.
Can we get like a GoPro strapped to him? Like strapped to his back?
It's gonna be. I'll tell you.
Day of Bigglesworth.
I tell Bethany all the time. I don't know if I need to get him to do something more, but for 18 hours a day, he is sitting in a chair, and he's either sleeping or licking his leg. Always the same leg too.
So back to the Biggles cam.
Yeah, and he eats so fast he throws up every time he eats.
Oh my gosh!
Impressive.
My mom.
And then he eats to throw up.
He used to. He doesn't anymore.
My mom's dog does that. She has to soak the dog food in water and then strain the water out so the dog won't choke itself when it's swallowing so fast. Like it's a mush.
That is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
My sister had a little chihuahua that would do the same thing, and you had to feed her like piece by piece, so she would actually
feed her by hand.
Oh my gosh, it's so nasty.
And it's not like the dog didn't eat. The dog ate like twice her body weight a day. I felt like.
Yeah,
like Coco. He's he clearly, even though he throws up once a day, clearly he's getting enough nutrition because that boy's thick.
Okay, so there's a little insight into our lives. Enjoy the encore show, and subscribe, shout at us on Twitter at Envision_War. You know what to do. And
if we get 100, if we get 100 likes on this episode, I will get a cat cam.
Oh boy! I gotta call some friends.
How many accounts can I make?
Oh yeah,
a week.
All right, you're cut off. Call your mother.